Today, sneakers are among the most popular shoes in the world, worn by athletes, students, and fashion enthusiasts alike. But have you ever wondered why they're called sneakers? It's a curious name for a pair of shoes, and the answer takes us back to a time when a simple change in footwear technology allowed people to move more quietly than ever before. Here's the fascinating story behind the name, right here, on History of Simple Things. To understand the name, we first need to look at footwear before sneakers existed. For centuries, most shoes had hard soles made from leather or wood. These materials were durable, but they had a drawback. They were noisy. Every step produced a noticeable sound, especially on wooden floors, stone streets, or indoor surfaces. If someone walked down a hallway wearing traditional leather-soled shoes, people could often hear them coming long before they arrived. Quiet movement wasn't exactly a feature that shoe manufacturers were thinking about. As cities grew during the 1800s and industrial manufacturing improved, inventors began experimenting with new materials. One material in particular would completely change footwear: rubber. The development of vulcanized rubber in the 19th century was a major breakthrough. Vulcanization, a process that made rubber stronger and more durable, allowed manufacturers to create practical rubber products on a large scale. Soon, companies began producing shoes with rubber soles. These early shoes were different from anything people had worn before. They were more flexible, more comfortable, and most importantly, much quieter. Unlike leather soles, rubber absorbed sound. A person wearing rubber-soled shoes could walk across many surfaces with remarkably little noise. For the first time, people could move around without announcing their presence with every step. At first, these shoes were mainly used for sports and outdoor activities. They were practical, lightweight, and well-suited for games that required running and agility. Nobody knew it yet, but these simple rubber-soled shoes were about to receive a nickname that would last for more than a century. The term sneakers is generally credited to advertising executive Henry Nelson McKinney in the late 1800s. McKinney reportedly noticed that people wearing rubber-soled shoes could move around much more quietly than those wearing traditional footwear. Because the shoes allowed wearers to sneak around without making much noise, he suggested calling them sneakers. The name was catchy, memorable, and easy to understand. It perfectly described one of the shoe's most distinctive characteristics. Imagine the difference from the perspective of someone living at the time. Traditional shoes clicked and clacked against hard surfaces, while these new rubber-soled shoes seemed almost silent. Compared with existing footwear, it really did feel as if the wearer could sneak around unnoticed. The nickname stuck, and before long, people across the United States were using the word regularly. Interestingly, not everyone adopted the same name. In many parts of the world, especially in the United Kingdom, these shoes became known as trainers. The name reflected their use in athletic training and sports activities. Other regions developed their own terms as well. Depending on where you travel, you might hear them called runners, tennis shoes, gym shoes, kicks, or simply athletic shoes. Yet, despite the many alternatives, sneakers remained especially popular in the United States. Over time, it became the dominant term in American culture and eventually spread through movies, music, advertising, and global fashion. The existence of multiple names highlights an interesting aspect of language. Different societies often focus on different features of the same object. Americans emphasized the quietness of the shoes, while the British emphasized their athletic purpose. Both names describe the same product, but from completely different perspectives. The earliest sneakers were not fashion statements. They were designed for practical activities such as tennis, croquet, and other sports. As the 20th century progressed, manufacturers improved designs and introduced specialized footwear for athletes. Better cushioning, stronger materials, and improved grip made sneakers increasingly effective for competition. Professional athletes helped popularize them further. When people saw successful sports stars wearing particular shoes, they wanted to wear the same brands. Eventually, sneakers began moving beyond sports. They became casual, everyday footwear. This shift was significant. For much of history, people had different shoes for work, formal occasions, and recreation. Sneakers blurred those boundaries by offering comfort that traditional shoes often lacked. By the middle of the 20th century, millions of people were wearing sneakers not because they were exercising, but simply because they enjoyed wearing them. Modern sneakers are often associated with fashion, performance technology, and brand identity. Yet the original reason for the name still reflects something important about the shoes. Comfort and ease of movement remain central to their appeal. The same qualities that made early rubber-soled shoes feel revolutionary continue to influence sneaker design today. Manufacturers constantly look for ways to make footwear lighter, softer, more flexible, and more comfortable. While modern sneakers contain advanced materials, air cushioning systems, foam technologies, and sophisticated engineering, the basic goal remains surprisingly similar to what it was more than a century ago: helping people move comfortably and naturally. The connection between sneaking and sneakers may seem quaint today, but it reminds us how revolutionary quiet footwear once felt. So why are they called sneakers? The answer goes back to the introduction of rubber-soled shoes in the late 19th century. Unlike traditional leather-soled footwear, these new shoes allowed people to walk quietly, almost as if they were sneaking around. The nickname captured that unique characteristic and quickly became part of everyday language. Yet hidden within the name is a reminder of their humble beginnings. A shoe that was remarkable simply because it let people move a little more quietly than before. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.